Hi there. I have been working in the yard all day and just had dinner and realized, oh, it's Sunday. I hadn't even done my video yet. So, without further ado, I will share with you what I've worked on for this Sunday. And honestly, I get tired of looking at the news. You know, the circus that is politics is continuing, and it just gets louder and louder. The economic challenges on the planet, and Bitcoin is definitely took a hit this week, and I took a loss in that hit as well this week. And, I just realized I was dipping into a level of play that you get burned. And I get burned out when I listen to politics, the Pizzagate, Omarosa, all of that circus is just going on and on. So I thought, that's not giving us any life, and there's no value in that for us. And so I wanted to focus on 13 rules to live by. And this is for women, but for the men that like women and still want to partner with them. I challenge women as I have been challenged to raise the bar. And when I mean raise the bar, it is on when you're selecting for yourself, what do you want to attract for yourself? So let me start. First of all, we got to realize the times we live in, and beyond the politics and the distraction, we are in an environmentally toxic planet, and it doesn't matter where you are on the planet. And some countries are more polluted than in others, but countries that have had Monsanto or air, northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere, it doesn't really matter anymore. We have health issues that are going to be coming up for all of us. And instead of going, what did I do wrong, look at where was I, and look around you and what could have poisoned you. So that's going to be the first thing. You need to take care of yourself in a much more stringent way, and looking at things that you've not heard talked about, because you won't hear them talked about, because this is lawsuit city here, and Monsanto was one who just got $289 million in damages they had to pay for poisoning. So now that those are on the table, you've got to address those. And when I bring that up first, because I want you to look at, and I did a video on this earlier this week or last week, on transgenderism and where is that coming from. And it's really, in my experience, totally separate from the political and the emotional and the sexual freedom. It's a chemical reaction our bodies are having. And I see it on the farm. I have male ducks sitting on eggs and making more eggs and jumping other female hens. And it wasn't until I saw it that I went, oh my gosh, I can see it in the species now. And I can see, and that's just natural when we have the pheromones and the false estrogen in our water and in our food, that we lose testosterone or we gain too much estrogen. Either way, it's messing with our sexuality and our fertility as well. So be aware of that. When I first did research on cancer and the chemotherapy I was taking, I was told at 17 parts per million, you will have a reaction to the chemical after 3 years, and that's when it starts affecting the body. However, when I went to go do the research on doing this Sunday commentary, it was 160 parts per million, and as high as up to 680 parts per million. So that means we'll get cancer a lot sooner, and it's going to affect our identity and how we see ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. So understand you're going through chemical changes, and that's going to affect hormonally what's going on. And if you've been on birth control, Get off as soon as you can, and find other ways, because this is not going to be good for your body long term, and it takes months, sometimes years, in trying to get your cycles back and feel some emotion and have sexual energy flowing through you and feeling fecund. So focus on that, because you can get stuck in your head, and that's not the place you want to be. Is take care of the body and nurture it as much as you can. So no Coke, no sugar, no gluten, no meat, no fish, no chicken, nothing with a heart. Hardcore, take care of yourself. Okay. Third is, I have learned when I go online and see something new and YouTube or Facebook will throw something at me, I'm like, oh, hadn't heard that before. I do 3 sources. I go look up 3 sources and try to not connect it to the same story, but go back in history and see if I can find any relevant information that will tell me about it in the past. And just kind of take the CIA motto, get 3 sources. And for myself, knowing my Chinese animal is a pig, we're gullible. So I'll respond, and it's that trigger happy when you're on the Facebook and you want to share and go, oh my gosh. And then I have to apologize half the time because I'm like, oops, I was wrong on that one. So I have to practice my own medicine of check 3 sources, think about it. Is this bringing life? And I've used the bar now. If it ain't bringing life, acknowledge it, file it, don't share it. And if it's a warning that has value, or we're just speaking of darkness and evil, we don't need to hear more of that. All right. 4, let your meditations and your day be spent on what do you want right now. Try to focus on being in the now. Eckhart Tolle spends a lot of time of his work talking about staying in the now, because everything else is a lie. History and future are just concepts. They're not real anymore. Only thing that's real is right now. You and me talking and exchanging. And so what you want right now is really more about the focus of getting into an emotional state of being that resonates with your desire, right? So right now I really want a chocolate sundae, and though that's not going to happen, I'm still going, oh, that would be great. And I had one earlier, so I had a smoothie and I'm good. But just resonating in that feeling is like, yeah, that's cool. And when it's time, it'll magnify itself to me and manifest itself to me. But now is not the time for that. And again, with short-term goals or long-term goals, when it's a desire of the heart, resonate in the feeling of having it and speaking about and feeling that now. So that's what you can focus on, your now space, and what do you do right now while you're waiting for the right person to come in your life and waiting to meet that one that's going to match your needs. 5, let's talk about how we are attracting. And there are 5 areas of intelligence: spiritual, intellectual, emotional, instinctual, and sexual. And all of them have brains. Now, we in the West typically will use sexual attraction as the first response that we go, ooh, there's something there. But I'm going to suggest to you that you focus on how you want that person to feel about you when they see you first thing in the morning in your real self. Not your put-on self, not the spend half an hour getting the makeup and the hair and the clothes and the nails all done so you're ready to go. And I don't want to degrade that process. Do it. It makes you feel good, do it. I do want to address the sexuality you put out. And what are you saying? You're going to show your cleavage if you like your boobs. If you got great legs, you're going to show your legs. If you're buff, you can do that for the guys as well. and you got a tight ass, you wear something snug so that we can see your, as my friend said, we can tell your religion. And I go, well, that's fine, but there's some consequences to that. And the problem is that you will also attract what you don't want. And because they may be boobs, ass, or whatever, or eyes person. And so you have, you just need to be conscious of what you're saying when you put your clothes on. And if it's the, you know, it's, I'm in my Quaker t-shirt because I finally got a shower after shoveling dirt all day. But it was that comfortable. I'm in the space of now, it's Sunday evening. I'm here to rest and get ready for Monday, which is my day off and my meditation day, and to go inward. But it's a soft space. So if somebody showed up now, they'd see me as this. And if I went out, I would still be in this, because it is that day of rest and that statement I am saying. I'm not picking up. However, I live in Thailand, and unfortunately, I look younger than I am, and I'm attracting more than I anticipated being single here. So I'm happy to just kind of tone it down. But I do want you to just consider you'll attract even the ones you don't want by what you wear. So your clothing says a statement. We chose what we're going to wear. We picked our styles when we were in high school. So you are who the image of your mind has projected for you. Okay, 6, ladies. Again, denial is not just a river in Egypt. And I'm harping on that point about our dress clothes and our sexuality and what we're putting out there. And I am in not total agreement with the feminist statement of no matter what I wear, a man has to control his behavior because I should have my freedom. However, if we do that on the reverse, and the man says, I should be able to wear what I wear or not wear, and I should have my freedom, that man is usually arrested or cited for indecent exposure. So it is not a fair approach to how we accept public displays of sexuality. It just is. And as we censor ourselves, first of all, we judge each other. And in that judgment, though, is your responsibility of discerning your own display. Okay, done with that. Law of attraction. That's a cool one. You attract where you're at, not what you want, but where you're at. So if you're in a good space, great. You'll attract that. If you are still not seeing the reasons why you keep connecting with the same bad guys, then you'll miss that, and it'll come up for you again. No matter what they look like, no matter what race or height or age, it's an energy that attracts. So that's what you have to pay attention to. And where you're at matters. So being in a state of joy and peace and happiness is priority for you. For you. And then, it's just like the magnet changes and you attract. Same, where you're at. 8. 20% of men get 80% of the women. So my advice is don't be the 80%. And our species, the sexuality in our species is by communication. We communicate and seduce by language. And we do it by style and fashion and dance or work or car. But we use our words, and our words are important for getting the first base, and then second, etc., etc. So in using our language, if you learn to say what women want to hear, like, and pickup artists are quite good at instructing men on doing that. And I find it's a personality style. You can, if you know about their Chinese animal, that'd be one of the first questions I ask, like, what's your animal? Who am I dealing with? And knowing if I got a charming snake, or if I got a monkey who's going to be exciting and adventurous and gone in a hot minute, or what, or an ox that's quiet and hardworking, and the hare that is bounces around, or the sheep that complains a lot. So what kind of animal am I dealing with here, so I can understand the personality? So knowing the mammal you're dealing with will be helpful in saving you. Are you just being part of the 80 that they're going through? And I will tell a story. I met a guy on a visa run who was I forgot what he called it, but it was flagging, not flagging in the leather community with hankies, but he collected flags. That's the term he used. So he slept with women based on their country, and he wanted to sleep with a different woman from every country. So that's what he was looking forward to do. And he double countryed a couple times, but it was more interesting to him to connect with a woman who had in a country he'd not slept with, which I thought would make a great book. But he was just doing it for the fun of it, and it was a thing that's being done out there. So again, he's in the 20%, and he is working hard time, and charming, and good looking, and can pull it off. So just know that you got work to do in paying attention and asking good questions. So 9, let's get to asking 5 intelligent questions. As I said, we need to connect in 5 areas: spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, instinctually, and sexually. I said first, sexually is kind of a no-brainer. It's like, okay, it's going. And then we start trying to work from here and trying to understanding what's there. Now, you have to be careful here, because a lot of times we don't accept the person as they are. We try to put that person in the box of what we're looking for. And we don't listen to what they're telling us. We try to fit it in and go, oh, well, that can be what we're looking for. And he could be saying what we think he's saying or she's saying. So I suggest that when you sit down with someone, you forget where you work, where you go to school. That'll tell you something. What you want to know is, are you connected? And with those 5 areas, it's important to try to get 3. It's a math thing. You need a majority, because it's hard to make a relationship work, period. It's just hard. And you need to have as much going for you as you can. Now, if you're shooting for a one-night stand, it's just the sexuality and boom, boom, done. It's not a conversation. But if you're looking for a relationship and trying to get the value of working with someone in your life, then you need to ask, where are they at in their lives, spiritually. And how I would suggest you do it when you meet someone is you ask them, and then you answer, what are you looking for in a partner spiritually? What? That's not usually the bar conversation, but it sobers everybody up and goes, wow, there's a question I haven't had to think about. What are you looking for intellectually? There you go. There, you'll have probably lots more conversation on that one. Where are you looking for in a partner emotionally? Where's that support? Usually what the need is will come up first. And pay attention. Can you meet that need? Do you want to meet that need? Are you expecting that need in yourself to be met? Because you need to answer that honestly. Instinctually, what are you looking for? You want to know somebody who's got your back? You can trust. That's a gut instinct. Trust comes from there. And then sexually, what are you looking for in a partner? what is sex supposed to feel like for you, or what's it supposed to express for you? What do you use it for? So those are the questions I recommend, that we get through the fluff of our outer worlds and get to our desires and get to really honing in. And if you're going to go there, and then make a judgment. What do you want to do with this? What do you have in common? Be honest. Radical honesty. Kind of a cool thing. All right. 10. Ooh. The real bar for deeper connections, I hate to tell you this, is 90 days. Now, play with the numbers if you want, but 90 days allows your hormonal, pheromonal sex drive to calm the F down so that you can see this person and you can think straight and you can connect with more than just a hard-on or wetness or the possibility of being Mrs. So-and-so because he's in your plan. You know, it looks good on paper. So you need time, and in our very messaging, fast Facebook, Instagram world, we don't really take time. And when somebody doesn't respond in an hour or worse, a half a day, our minds are going crazy. What went wrong? Is it over? Is it done? That's the female mind. And the male going, do I bother? Do I want it? And they won't know. Here's the little secret, ladies. At climax, men get a hit of serotonin in the back of their brains, back right side. And it changes their whole body. They're not in drive mode. The problem is, you smell different to them. Male or female, doesn't matter. When the climaxing male partner has a serotonin release, and the partner he is with will smell differently to him before sex and now after sex. And he will know at that time if he is attracted to you then, right? Most times it's not, because he was just moving on sexual instinct and responding to sexual instinct and pursuing. And you've not built up enough connections in the other areas of intelligence and connection, so that there's nothing there. After the sex is gone, there's not much left. So 90 days is simply about what's in it for you. Raise the bar for you. You want a standby guy, you're going to have to stand by yourself and hold something worth standing and waiting for. It is that kind of a, yes, animal instinct, primal nature. We are mammals. Yeah, don't try to psychological it away. We're mammals, and we move on instinct. And if you don't respect that, and trying to use this just to talk yourself out of it, or listening to what your college professor told you should be, you're forgetting who we really are. So, please remember that one. 11. So, in looking at our species, where the masculine brain we're in the age of patriarchy, about mind, work hard, competitive. So that is the masculine, competitive sort of the brain, active in both masculine, male and female. And it has kind of, I hate to say it, but short-circuited the heart. And it has, and particularly for men, and especially men who have suffered from circumcision or sexual abuse, which has been much higher for men than for women, damage to the heart is a real thing. You can also see the damage of circumcision on the brain in an MRI, and a nurse who had a husband who wanted to circumcise their son only agreed to do it if she could measure both before and after on the brain. And sure enough, Circumcision causes lesions to the brain, and so that damage attacking the most sensitive part of the masculine body and cutting it off. That, what does that do? Desensitizes. Boom. Desensitizes. So there's damage there, and to be able to heal that, that takes a lot of work. Now on the feminine side, Guy de Becker, Dr. Guy de Becker did a book, The Gift of Fear, and he was a forensic psychologist that studied rape victims. And he noted that the humans have a overdeveloped prefrontal cortex, and we has been programmed by story, by religious stories, by political stories, by cultural stories. So the brain has these kind of secondary thoughts that are based on programming. So what he observed in the rape victims, that they all had instinctual knowledge that they were in danger. But instead of responding to the brain, the instinct brain that said fight, flight, relax, sexual attraction, or fear, this would have been flight, the mind said, oh, but you're not giving him a chance, and what would your mother say, and you're not being nice. So there was some programming that discounted the intelligence of our gut instinct. And so women have been overprogrammed, and we take on those stories. Harlequin romance, #1 selling genre for women. The story, the fantasy of unrealistic relationships. If we're buying into them, that's a dangerous habit. So that mind has to be brought back into instinctual knowledge, which is where we're the weakest. So ladies, where the men need to have their hearts healed, we need to slow down these things. Women need to meditate more than men do, just to stop the stories from running through and getting in the way of where we're at, what we have to offer, and what we're willing to do to make a relationship work. Number 12. The Peter meter, the sexual intelligence, as I said, works and we pay attention to it. However, it's not the first signal. Our nose is our first. We have 4 olfactory lines that are just designed to smell those instinctual needs, fear and attraction primarily. And then they register to the body, and when we're meeting someone, it's not love at first sight, that first scent that we go, oh, and then the sight confirms it, and then the Peter meter pops up. Now, women, it's not so immediate, and we're not always connected with our own sexuality, and you know, whether we're turned down or not, but good if you can keep that working. But it is 3 different parts of our body already responding. And so we need to realize it's not just going to be one thing that works with us. It's got to be a multi-labor. So the 5 questions are important for yourself. Ask yourself those questions first before you go take them out on the road, and see, what do you need? And so you know what you're looking for when you answer those questions, and you know what you're offering. You know, love is a nice little word, but that's only one emotional intelligence area. It's not enough. And I have learned through my last relationship that love is not enough if it's all that there is. Love has to be coupled with at least 2 others to make this thing work, because it's hard. Relationship, the prime directive, I forgot to mention that, the prime directive of relationships is to make you grow spiritually faster. Now, you can do the legal contract of marriage and make money, and if that's the goal of the contractual, you want children, so you're looking for someone to do that with you. But you are asking for transactional things, and when you don't get them, it's the end of the relationship. And I realized I didn't have enough vested in those other 5 areas that I felt satisfied that it made it worthwhile when the transactional side for us didn't work. And I went, oh, all right, okay. As much as I wanted to make it, I'm like, oh, darn, how come we can't make that happen? The honesty just said, stop. Be honest. Let go. Don't try to force this to happen. Just let go. So, respect your body's needs. Because, I had a lovely conversation with a woman who, when she met a partner, he spoke to her safety, her needs for safety. And that was safety that was a program that she was told she needed to have, gotta have a man to feel safe around. And when she realized that's not really her, and that's not what she really wants, it was much easier to realize that program and the package it came in for safety was not going to be the right match for her. And that she needed to raise the bar for herself and look a little deeper, a little harder, a little stronger. And I'm like, bravo, bravo. You can attract what you need. Now, I also have to remind you, statistically, every person on the planet has at least 25 partners matched for them. So if you haven't fallen in love 24 times, don't worry. You've got plenty of fish still available to you. Okay. And number 13, know thyself more. Know thyself. Know your animal. Know your purpose. Understand your Mayan. And the Mayans look at life from a fourth dimensional aspect. And as I preach about the astrologies, there's 40 different ones. We can learn different things from different ones. And human design, which I also like, is about looking at 6 different systems. And it's almost embarrassingly accurate, understanding who you are and avoiding frustration or avoiding bitterness in your life. And that's what these tools are. So know thyself more. And I have a tool, relationship matching. If you have a partner or someone you're considering, then let's look at that. And let's look deeply at what's good for you so that you can look for someone that's going to work out well for you. And the Chinese and the Taoist astrology are really good at that and looking at what they call a triangle. It's a trifinity of partners that you get along best with and that you can look smarter and meet your needs. We know more, we do better. So, happy Sunday. Sorry it's late. You see the animals have already gone up to bed, so I think I'll be going to. Namaste.